presenting the Brick House Podcast. The Brick House. Here comes the boom.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Brick House Podcast. My name is Matthew Brick, and I'm so excited for you guys to listening in, tuning in, watching in, and I'm super excited for you guys to hear it out. And I'm glad that you're here. For the people that don't know, I'm here with Dawson Chu. He's a swimmer. He goes to Valor Christian High School. He's in the media, making movies, and we'll definitely get to know more of him while on this episode. So I don't have to pretend like I'm reading it off. You'll get to know who he is, and yeah. So let's just start off with this. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Matthew. I think it's great to be here.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show, so
Oh
glad
yeah.
to be on here.
Yeah. No. Me and Dawson, we've had a few classes over the past 2 years or whatever. But Dawson, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here was you have such a creative mind. You just, even though I would like to think that I'm a creator of some sort, but yeah, I'd love to know who you are, like what do you like and things like that. So yeah, Dawson.
Yeah, you're too kind, really. I mean, you're definitely a creator of sorts. I mean, you've got this whole, podcast setup going, which is crazy. I probably wouldn't be able to host my own podcast. I don't even know what to talk about. But yeah, like you said, I do really enjoy creating. I do that through a bunch of different forms as well, This year I'm taking songwriting, but I'm also doing film and then also involved in the play. So I really love telling stories, and I think there's a lot of different ways that you're able to tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just love exploring all the mediums where you can do that, whether it be, in plays or in film or through songwriting or through podcasting.
Yeah, telling a story. No, yeah, that's good. How long have you been doing what out of all that, what are you most what do you love the most? Is there something that comes maybe more natural or something you love like the most? I mean, I know that's hard to say, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I kind of get what you're saying. And certainly, I mean, back even when I was a kid, 7 or 8, I still have home movies, shot on our family's camcorder.
Yeah.
Kind of little skits that were drawn out or whatever. But just kind of directing and getting people all together to tell, one big story, to streamline to one big vision. That was kind of where it started for me, and from there it went to theater, into writing more,
Yeah.
into just kind of where I am today.
What are some works that you've you said directing and things like that got me thinking last year in Bible class, for all the projects we had to do, Dawson here makes a movie or a short film, and you just casually cast your friends and
Yeah.
that's that's just so cool. So you wanna?
I'll talk a little bit about that, but what he's referring to is for one of our projects, we had to choose a verse and just kind of expound on what it meant to its original audience. So what I did, I chose a verse from the book of Revelations, Revelations 16, I believe it was, where it talks. It's a very heavy hitter, which is why I chose it, but it basically talks about a dragon coming to deceive the kings of the world. And I really wanted to kind of break that down, and I thought, what better way to do that than on film, especially. And that was just kind of carrying a tradition on from freshman Bible, where we had to talk about, the 7 eras of the the Old Testament rather. The Old Testament, and just kind of how that story kind of streamlined into the story of Jesus. So I just kind of called up everyone that was involved in the Old Testament, like, hey guys, we're doing Revelations now. So that was a really fun experience. I definitely spent a lot more time in that one, kind of doing research, because we were trying to, figure out what does all this mean to the original audience? How would they have perceived it? What does it mean for us today? So a lot was put into the research, and then from there, just kind of a script formed out of it, and then
Mm,
film.
yeah. No, that's so cool, and like I think that's like a skill, like to actually like delegate your time, and then like because I find myself not as organized, but to lead other people, and then let alone just like the actual filming, the actual directing, the actual editing, that like all that, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not easy. And organization, I mean, I'm definitely not very much of an organized person at all, but
Mm-hmm.
basically we had around 7 days to write, film, and then edit the whole thing once the research was done. So I literally just, hopped on a Discord call with my friends and I'm like, okay, guys, here's what we're trying to portray through this, what different ways we can do that. We did it through a bunch of different ways. We have dialogue, we have narration about the verses, and then we even have a song. We put a song in
Mm,
there just
yeah.
for the fun of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just really being able to mix all of those different pieces. That's what I like about
Mm-hmm.
film, especially, that it's just kind of a conglomeration of, what you see visually, what you see here audibly, and just the different things you can do in that space.
Mm-hmm. As a individual who's creative and has many interests, also an athlete, we could talk a little bit about that. But like, what is at your heart? And I'd love to know, since a lot of my podcast is faith-based related. But
Mhm.
do you, in any regard, like think that you like since God created you,
Yeah.
like you got your like well, what you like, just even your passions and like things like that from God? And I don't know if there's something like you want to say on that or any rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Do you understand? Yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying, but just especially, yeah, I think you're saying like our passions are just kind of from God, and we should use those to kind of reflect
Yeah.
back to Him. And I think that's great. That's definitely what I try to do. We talk a lot in our film classes and really all of our classes here at
Hmm.
Valor about using, different ways to that or things that reflect back up to God, and that's we're doing a series, and our theme for Valor this year, of course, is Awe and Wonder, which is kind of just looking at everything and seeing it all like point back to God. So that's really what I love to do, with it being my victories in athletics or, in my creative process, just finding ways to like either draw in an audience or tell people um, about God in some way.
Hmm. Um, yeah, what are some of you, I mean, that's one, like, that's great.
Mhm.
I didn't want to like undermine what you said. That
Yeah.
was, that's great. Awe and wonder, yeah. Have there been times in your life that you've seen God's awe and wonder or,
Sure. I'll go to the most, recent
yeah,
example.
why not?
We went on vacation. Well, it was kind of a 2 week vacation, but
Yeah,
the first week we had a big swim meet. It was the Western Championship.
nice.
So got to have a lot of fun there. Just hang out with some really great friends. And then the second week, we actually drove to the Sierra Nevada mountains, and we
Ooh, okay.
stayed at a place called Mammoth Lakes. And I mean, my English teacher would get on me about talking about just the beauty of the mountains because she's like, "Oh, we see mountains every day. There's other things you can describe, but I mean, just seeing, the mountains." Or we went to a lake that was surrounded on all sides by mountains and just the scenery.
Mm,
While I was there, I brought, my digital camera and I just was taking
yeah.
pictures because, oh my gosh, everything was so beautiful there. And I
Mm,
mean, we went mountain biking as well, we went
nice.
fishing. So really got to explore like all aspects of what Mammoth had to offer. And I really
Wow,
got to see just everything that
that's
was, yeah.
cool. Yeah, being out in nature, like, um, I think it really gives evidence to a creator, but
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that. I really do.
Yeah, and beyond nature, because I think, that's the easiest thing. You walk outside and you see like the majesty of, mountains or just how like
Hmm.
the pretty colors. But I think even beyond that, especially like in the space that you or I are in creatives, like maybe or building something like coming out of you in a sense, like
Mm,
to have an idea to pursue something. I think that's also a great what's the word? Just like a great way to show that God does have a plan for you because
Yeah. Maybe God's plan, like going off of that, but like what are some things that you maybe feel called, like we are coming, we're finally in junior year.
yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. Is there like anything that you feel pointed to? I mean, like after high school or anything of that, if you have an
Yeah,
idea.
I think junior year is just a really great time, what I heard, just to kind of focus in on, your passions and just get ready to, and even start thinking about college, which is, crazy, which obviously here at Valor we're very much about, kind of finding your path to the future.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I don't really know honestly where my journey is going to take me, I mean, I do have so many passions, like I said, whether it be swimming, whether it be film. I'm, for right now, I'm definitely just looking at, a place after college where or not after college, rather, after high school, where I can find, kind of a sense of balance in like everything that I, enjoy or want to pursue, if
hmm
that makes sense.
And like you said, or I want to add on to it, but like, it's not about, and this is so cliche, but I want to add it.
Sure.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, about the process. Are you,
Well, yeah,
or what
sure.
do you think?
And definitely, I mean, high school, has been, a wild ride. And
Yeah.
there's just been so many, unexpected things, good and bad.
hmm
And I think being able to, both be faced with challenges and new opportunities and, just be able to either come at them with an open mindset or really think, what is God having for me in this situation? Um, I think is just a really great mindset to have. And um, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. Um, yeah. Well, is there anything like just in these next few weeks, anything that you just are actually really looking forward to? I know that's kind of like a low level question there, but
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. So, actually, kind of going off, swimming is starting back up. So we're
okay.
kind of doing, like base training or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get back into the swing of it. And I'm really excited for the season. I think there's some great things that I can achieve, and just between that and I actually like really enjoy my classes. I mean, obviously I'm
Yeah.
taking a couple difficult
Yeah.
ones, but I'm also, learning in just every
Mm.
class, and that's what I really love, just learning new things and being able to, kind of absorb that information and then, use it in some capacity. And I
Yeah.
don't always know what capacity that is, but sometimes, things pop up in the most random of places, and I love it. I just love having a, I guess, intellectual arsenal, as my old history teacher would say,
Yeah.
and with your mind of, you know, especially being a creative, like knowing so much and being able to use that in your either create or content creation.
Mm. Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff. I would love to know. For the viewers or listeners in, today is a little bit of a shorter episode because we're at school, so we have to
Yeah.
fit it in. But I'd love to know, is there any questions that you have for me? Like, anything you want to ask of me, like things that you wonder, or I don't know. If not, we can go to a next subject. But
Um, sure, I'll just ask a question, but
yeah,
what do you think? Like, with it being junior year, what are you hoping that your how your faith journey matures throughout junior year? Because obviously, you're starting to point towards life decisions and
yeah.
really having to dial in.
Well, thank you. I think I'll actually enjoy this question. Because people don't ask me a lot of questions, and that's fine. It's about other people. Um, but people tell me first off, Matthew, you give off youth pastor vibes. I don't know. I don't know about that, but how like I took your question as like, how do you navigate faith, and like, what are you kind of wanting to walk into,
Yeah.
and I mean, I am now at a student leader at here at Valor. I don't know what that's gonna bring me into, but I'd love to definitely work a lot more on the spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
Even just in my own life, like I know for a fact, like since becoming a follower of Christ, like I know for me, that's something that like not everyone has to, but I feel called to be in some line of ministry, even if it's part time or whatever. But I know I feel called to like be a part of the church in some way. But even through this podcast, like just I have so like like I'm smiling, like I love it. I think it's so much fun, and um I'd love to just like because I get it. For some people that are on a completely different like headspace or perspective, they can't quite maybe understand um sometimes they see like Christianity or just even religion in itself like one like a fun killer, or oh, God is so mean, how could he allow things to happen? And um I don't want to go down all that right now, but I think I want to share this to whoever's listening, that like that doesn't mean that us followers don't go through that and don't doubt in that same way. Like we have doubts, so many doubts probably. I know I doubt my faith a lot of the time, and all I would say is it's okay to doubt. It's okay to not be okay, and you can bring all that to God. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think that, and like they say at our school right now, like this next year, they believe that there might be something that might like a radical transformation, and I believe that just and hopefully that's something I can like bring just by meeting people, like just throughout my interactions with anyone.
Yeah.
So that's my long spiel. I shouldn't have spieled that long, but
Yeah, I think that's a great point, just especially within relationships, like with different people, and being able to have, just kind of a relationship that allows you to share your faith. And I mean, especially like through this podcast, just bringing people on here and just, being able to talk, like have like an open conversation, but also, point about God, like, or point to God rather, and ask, questions. And I think, as you said, you want to, be involved in the church some way. And I would say kind of the same thing. Like I want to be able to share God's word, and I think especially through content creation, either through this podcast where you or through different films. There's ways to teach about God and God's love that is kind of not necessarily face to face level, but still
hmm
on a deeper level. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we're trying to tell stories, and we're also trying to relate that back to God's story and God's plan for us.
hmm I mean, I really wish that we had more time. I know maybe we'll have a part two with Dawson. I really would love that. Or, maybe he'll pull me along something with him sometime. But just in this next few final moments, I'd love for you can add on anything, anything that you want to talk about. So if there's anything you want to talk about, but I like to save the end for if there's something that's on your heart and something that you just want to because like something I also see is like I don't want everyone's message to sound the same. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to create this theme of oh like I want to have different people, all sorts of different people on the podcast. And I guess if there's anything that you want, like if there's a main message that you have that you want to share, if there's anything, yeah, you can
Yeah.
share.
Obviously, that's um, a lot to take in, but I don't know. Just something on my heart is I don't know. I'm really hoping that this year, junior year, this 2024-2025 season, just kind of like really brings peace and understanding in someone. Because those are things that I definitely strive for. I love, or I want to be able to understand things, and I'm hoping for peace. Um, whether that be, in your personal life or even even on a broader scale. But definitely just something that I'll be praying for um, will just be that this year there's just kind of I'm trying to figure out how my Bible teacher says it, but just a peace that transcends understanding, I
Mm,
think is what he says. Um, and just that, just, anybody listening or just really anyone in general just has a moment that they're able to kind of step back and be like, wow, um, X or Y, in my life is just so important. And I love being able to, interact or do that thing. And um, yeah, trying to figure out a way to neatly wrap it up, maybe into one or two sentences, but just really that this year would kind of just bring like a fresh wave, like and new opportunities for everyone listening, and that really everyone would have a kind of an experience with God in one way or another. I think that's just really what I'm hoping for and what's on my heart recently.
wow, I couldn't say it better. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you, Dawson. If you don't know Dawson, come say what's up to Dawson.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I plug this?
oh yeah, plug everything you ever
Okay,
need.
sure. I'm on Instagram, Dawson Studios, 24, and then also I'm on YouTube, Dawson Studios. Check that out. You know, I have
Mm-hmm.
some of the projects that I was just talking about
Yeah.
Matthew with the entire Old Testament. You know, the Book of Revelations. Plus, you know, I just finished up a big short film. It's
Okay.
called The Next Stage. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of you know, a sci-fi comedy kind of thing
Okay.
where a bunch of kids go to an arcade. But then it's been taken
Yeah.
over by robots.
Okay.
So yeah, I had a lot of fun with making that as well, and I really just love having fun, you know, making more things, and I can't wait for that. So
You'll see them, guys. Well, thank you. That's a wrap. The Brick House Podcast. Thank you. Thank
thank
you.
you.